challenge. Let's see. So thank you so much to everyone who tuned in for day one and day two. Um, Day one, I kind of just shared some excitement about where we are with launching the journey to a million users. I also I extended invitations for folks who are interested in joining the Dayrol community, the beta experience, subscribing to my YouTube channel, like did all of that to make sure that people knew all of the ways in which they could participate in the journey. And yesterday, or day two, I kind of walked through some things that made Dayrol truly special, or things that I naturally identify as making Dayrol special. So today we're actually going to get into some of the feedback that I've received. And I've received three types of feedback. One is like, hey, this seems awesome. I want to partner. Like I run an organization, I do this thing, and I want to be able to partner with you in some capacity. I'm ready. Let's do it. The second type of feedback has been, I am interested in providing you actual feedback about my user experience, like the things that I want to share to help either improve the app, or I have these types of questions, like, and people have been like, how do I get this information to you? Email, text, phone call, DM, like whatever works for you, screenshot, whatever works for you to get it to me to make the Dayrol experience better for everyone who is utilizing Dayrol. I'm all for it. I'm all ears and I'm tuned in. So send it my way. The third type of feedback that I've been receiving is essentially like, here are my numbers, help me. So, and it's coming from folks who are like, I've never budgeted a day in my life. I don't even know how to set this thing up. To folks who are like, I've been doing this and I just don't have enough control right now to stop the spiral that I'm experiencing. And so we're going to look into a budget today of someone who is has a very strict budget. So they're a college student and they're only paid $15 an hour. And they're making it work. They're doing the best that they can. They've made some decisions like moving out from their parents' house and deciding to not live like on the campus, and different things like that that have influenced their budget and how strict it is, or constrained it is right now. But we're going to get into like how Dayrol could potentially support their existence so they know exactly where their money's going at all times. So this live is essentially for anyone who, one, is just curious, like, what does Dayrol do and how could it benefit my life? And then two, for folks who are like, I live a strict budget, whether it's $15, $20, $25, whatever the case may be. My budget is kind of a little strict too, or constrained, and I want to kind of see how this person is spreading out their money. So we're giving this person a pseudonym, if you will. We're going to call her Frances, which is my middle name, but just to preserve some level of confidentiality. A couple of notes about Frances. Frances is as I said, she's a college student. She doesn't have kids. Thankfully, because kids are expensive and they add an additional layer of complexity that just does not need to exist in her situation right now. So she does not have kids. She is unmarried and also not dating anyone. So also things that add levels of complexity to anyone's financial situation. That includes if you are dating, because dating costs money. So she is not dating. She is unmarried. She does not have kids, and she has limited debt. The only debt that she has right now is from a car note. So I am like, kudos to her for making it this far in life and not having a hurt amount of debt or unnecessary expenses in her world right now. So she literally is only focused on like making sure her walls are taken care of, as well as like the things that she might want or need out of life. The problem is, because she decided to move out of her parents' house, she has the responsibility of all her bills on a $15 salary. And when I say all her bills, I mean rent, water, power, phone bill, like all of her bills are her responsibility, which was a choice that she made. And so, like I tell Dallas and now Dakota, for any decision you make, cool beans, you can make it all day long, but there is always going to be either a positive reward or negative consequence. And for her, I can't necessarily say like whether it was positive or negative for in her situation. All I can say is that she's been reflective and she's kind of been like, yeah, nah, I shouldn't have moved out. These bills are real. So let's get into it and sign her up for a Dayrol account. All right. I'm going to share this screen. This is like that moment where people like, when they have a baby, like, this is my baby, I made it. Like, this is my app, I made it. So this is the Dayrol welcome screen. But before we get here, I got to shout out Malcolm. If you know Malcolm Griggs, he does design work. And while he did not do the designs for the inside of the app, he did create our brand guidelines that we follow now through and through. And that included, so the brand guidelines, he simplified them and made them easily accessible to any designer working on the project. He also created what you see as the app icon, the short form of the logo, as well as the long form of the logo. If you're rolling on beta right now, you don't have this version. You have the version that is the blue with the white capital D. Like, that was version -0.15. But this is the act. This is how we're going to go to production. So thank you, Malcolm. Highly recommend him if you are looking for any logo work, any design work that he can take on in support of projects that you have. He was phenomenal to work with in terms of all my revisions. If you remember, been following the journey, originally these bars were going down, and I was like, hey, can we make them go up? Like, I want people's money to go up. So we made that revision, like from even just anything that I asked for. He was really accommodating, and again, highly recommend his services if you are looking for someone to support you. So here we go. There's that logo. Doesn't it look good, y'all? So that's the Dayrol logo. That's the long form. Again, thank you, Malcolm. Much appreciation. So here's your welcome screen. Standard for any application. You got to sign in, a sign up. There's this unique button or link that is start budgeting. That's for folks who are like, I don't want to create an account. I just want to get in and start budgeting. So if that's you, it's there available for you. But if you want to be a part of the experience, receive the updates, know what's going on with the application, then like signing up or signing in are the better options for you. So I'm only showing this because nobody's probably going to ever look at this, but there are some sliders here. Track your expenses and save money and get reminders about your upcoming bills. So let's see. We are creating an account and we're going to call her Frances. Remember, oh wait, I do want to mention privacy policy and terms of use. Those buttons are down there. They're live links that will take you to those policies, but here's the quick and dirty of what you need to know. 1, I am not selling your data. 2, I am not sharing your data. 3, I literally exist so that I can help people make the best financial decisions as it relates to their day-to-day spending. That is why I exist. That is why Dayrol exists, and that is the mission that we're after. So heads up there. But feel free to read them in detail because they exist and are available to you. All right, so let's sign up for a Dayrol account. You got some single sign-on options here. You can sign up with Google. You can sign up with Facebook. You can sign up with Apple. Secure signups. Email is also secure. It's coming straight to you. I'm using a test account for Frances. So let's go test at plusfrances.com. And let's go sign up. Let's enter a strong password. I used to hate strong passwords before I started developing. Now I understand why we need them. If I can type it correctly. Ugh. Maybe not. Here we go. All right. 3rd time's a charm. So you get an email verification. That's a lovely little version 1 MVP feature there. Minimum viable product for you. Okay. So in about 5 seconds, maybe 2, this link down here becomes accessible to you once you have verified your account. Your email has been verified, and let's keep rolling. So we got Frances. You've created a profile, hassle to track your money and where it's going. This is all introductory stuff. Let us build your custom budget. Here we go. Oh my gosh, this screen is embarrassing. So we got feedback during beta that essentially said people had no idea what was coming next in onboarding. So they would enter all of their expenses on one screen, not knowing that there's a debt screen and a saving screen and a giving screen that's like later down the road. And so what we did was we essentially I take full ownership of this one. I created a quick screen here that it has the bullets of like where you're going. The likelihood of people reading this probably slim to none, but what you can be excited about is there is an onboarding progress bar that's in design right now, and as soon as it's done and approved, we'll be implementing it in the application, which will get rid of this funky little bulleted screen. Ooh, this is embarrassing, y'all. It's bullet points in the app. But stick with me. Hey, stick with me. We on version 0.68. So by version 1, this won't exist. Maybe. All right, here we go. So the first up is currency. Yes, all of these currencies are alive and well. They're available. You can use them. However, I must note the app language that exists currently is English. So while it is on the roadmap to engage with localization and translations, that is not a thing right now. So if you are an English speaker or utilize the English language in any meaningful way, then feel free to engage with the application. But until then, I mean, currencies exist, but other language support does not at this time. So I'm going to type US in the search, or I can scroll that list to find the US dollar. In terms of our girl Frances, so she makes $15 an hour, but she works 40 hours a week. Her gross is $2,400. I recognize there are two different groups here. Some people budget based on gross. That's like all of the money that you make on the paycheck. Not just what you bring home, but all of what you make. I am one of those people. I budget based on gross because I track things like retirement and taxes and all that good stuff. Frances, however, doesn't care. She's like, look, I want to look at what's coming home to me because that's what I have to work with on a day-to-day basis. And so what she brings home is roughly 2085, 23. But we'll get there. Let's just talk about this screen first. So this is the only place that I could say supports you in setting up your budget. And the reason why is because, again, I made the assumption that the core logic of the application was more important than the financial literacy piece that needed to be added later. And so, as I mentioned in yesterday's live, we are going to add some financial literacy pieces. I'll mention some of those as we go through onboarding, kind of what you can expect. But right now, we are under the assumption that you are aware of how to kind of create your categories and subcategories. More to come on that. All right, so she has a car payment. She does not currently save toward an emergency fund. She feels like she does not have the capacity or to save or to give. And when I say give, I mean the 10% to some type of charitable organization, tithing, whatever is your lifestyle decision or choice. She doesn't feel like she has the bandwidth financially to do either of those things. But I am pushing her to try to save something. She does pay an apartment rent. I know mortgage and rent are tomato. I'm going to change one of them. She buys groceries and she has at least one subscription. She has exactly one subscription. So let's get into it. All right. Again, her primary job, she makes $20.85, 23 every single month. Now, if she had a second job, like a side hustle, like I used to do DoorDash, I used to build websites, I used to do photography, like all of those side hustles were line items in my budget because I needed to be able to track what was coming in, what I was making, and how it could support the responsibilities that I had to fulfill. So I would have added like several new income sources, but she only has one. All right, her savings, we are anchoring at 10%. So we're going to say 208.52 so that she can begin to build out her emergency fund. Now, over the course of the 30 days, my hope is to be able to also have conversations around, in general, just the connection between like broken finances or people whose finances are in disarray and mental health, because those are two things that are heavily tied together. You have people out here angry, depressed, frustrated, mad, sad, like just overwhelmingly negative emotions just because their finances are in disarray. And there are not enough conversations, I think, that support the connection between the two and the experience that is like living in without a plan, without a financial plan. So we'll get into some of those conversations in this space. So this is our savings. All right, rent. She pays $750 for rent, which is a little bit higher than the normal like industry standard of 30% of your income going toward housing. But the positive here is, well, let's just go back a second. I don't even remember the last time. Actually, I do. Wait, let me go back. So the last time I had cheap rent was in college, and I mean, at right when I graduated from college, I stayed in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, because I graduated from the University of Alabama. But I stayed in Tuscaloosa for 2 years, teaching at a middle school in Tuscaloosa, and my rent was, it started at $550, and I think the most it went up to was $575. Might have been $615. Like that was it. And I miss those days because that was a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, great apartment. I mean, wonderful apartment. Not on campus, like near Tarjay. If you're from, if you were in any way ever been in Tuscaloosa, great apartment, wonderful. Can't find it if my life depended on it today. The apartment I moved from here before I purchased my house here, I think my apartment was like $1,200, and it didn't include any of the bills. Like I owned all of them myself. And so the positive here, although she pays $750, it covers her TV and her internet, which is, I think, absolutely phenomenal because both of those could easily run you $100+ a month depending on the service that you select. So $750 for her rent. She does not have roommates, unfortunately, so she lives by herself. So she totes the whole $750 by herself. In terms of other expenses that she has that are home related, she has a power bill that runs her approximately $120 a month. She has a water bill that runs her $45 a month. And she has a phone bill that runs her $80 a month. All right, so let's get into her food. Groceries, her budget is $200 for groceries. It's just her, so she doesn't spend a whole lot. I'm jealous because I don't remember the last time I had a $200 grocery bill. That's gonna give me one loaf of bread. That okay, two loaves of bread, and maybe some salmon, maybe. So super jealous that she has a very inexpensive grocery bill. We chose to keep dining out in her budget because she said she dines out, and this is like I'm going to Tropical Smoothie, or I might be going to Chick-fil-A for lunch or something like that once or twice a week. So $60 for the month to cover her dining out. Dayrol's never going to tell you, no, you can't do that. Like, because everybody's lifestyle is different. Everyone's, what makes their train or their engine run is completely different across the board. And no two budgets will ever be the exact same. So just heads up there. We give you the tools to be successful, but we don't give you the yes or the no on what you choose as your path towards success. All right. So that is her food. And last but not least, she has a subscription in the amount of, she has one subscription, and it is Apple Pay. Oh. And it is $6 because she's a student. There's a $6 Apple Pay subscription. All right. Did I miss anything? I did not. Okay. So let's keep going. As you can see, there's a lovely little progress bar at the top that tells you approximately how much you have left to budget. And this is typically where people get really shocked. They're like, wait, what? I got how much left to budget? So her car payment is $359 a month. Oh, quick side note. I shared yesterday that there is not a ton here that supports financial literacy. And we make the assumption again that you are aware of how to kind of set up your categories and your subcategories. What is on the roadmap immediately after production release is enabling predictive text. And that becomes like a drop down here. So if I enter a P in the subcategory field, it will give me words like power, prescriptions, phone, like different options to choose from versus the blank slate that you kind of have right now. Again, focus was on core logic and making sure that the math was mathing so that everyone could actually be successful using the tool. All right, so let's keep going. She is not currently giving anything. And it says she has 256 left, which means I missed something. Oh, homegirl got a car. She need car insurance and gas. So let's figure out how we can add that. All right, so here's her income. Here's her basic expenses. Here are her savings. Here's her giving, and here's her debt. All right, so let's go save and see dashboard. This is the review screen, the budget summary screen, where you get to review everything, and this is where most people are like, "Oh my gosh, what the heck is going on in my life?" All right, let's save and see dashboard. All right, you have this lovely little um, tooltip experience that look at Dayrol out here looking like a grown up. Not you telling people how to use the app. So that teaches you how to use the application. We're going to skip it for now because this whole session will be series of sessions will be kind of an introduction to how to use the app. So we're going to skip that. All right, what you see on the dashboard here is your. Hold on one second. I think my 17-year-old is losing his mind. Hold on, Dallas. You're too loud. Oh, sorry. He's playing his video game. Sorry about that. All right. So on the dashboard, monthly savings, average monthly expenses. Again, I'm not going to get into like the details of what's here right now because I just want to make sure she is set up to view her budget, make changes to her budget if necessary. So this is the actual monthly budget. So you have her income that populates here. You have her debt. You have all the categories essentially that she set up. On the roadmap is the ability to toggle all of these open and toggle all of them closed instead of having to manually do them one at a time. Now, in terms of how you can set up this budget, if you only have one category that's like my spending, cool beans. This is again, very customizable experience, whatever works for you in your lifestyle, whatever type of tracking you want to do, it's set up for you to experience the most tracking, i.e. like this, which gives you all of your categories set up, or the least, like I just need to know that stuff's paid. Like the whatever floats your boat for how you want to set up your account, you have that autonomy to do so. All right, we need to add a category for transportation. That is the one that we missed. Transportation. How do you spell that? Oof. All right, transportation. And she has car insurance. And her car insurance is at $115 a month. And she also has gas. She does work. She works away from home. So she spends about $120 a month on gas. All right, so let's save this. So we have debt, we have food, we have her home, savings, subscriptions, and last but not least, transportation. So let's say she wanted to make an edit to this. She could simply click edit here, add new items, which can be added from here or can also be added from here. Let's say if this month she actually spent a little bit more on gas, or she was planning a trip, she could easily make kind of adjustments here. While we are not getting into the details of like what her actual experience could look like in the app, I just wanted to show you how I would onboard her and how I would show her kind of the facts and the details. But as you can see, she's got $21.71 left to budget. That after taking care of her core expenses and her core needs, that's what she has remaining. So if I were giving her some level of advice, one, I would say stay in school and make sure you gain as much skill as you can so that you can graduate and get a job that pays you a little bit more than what you're making right now. You cannot budget your way to a higher income. You cannot make money exist where it just does not exist. And so my advice to her would be to study, show herself approved so that she can go out into the market and get a job that allows her to live the lifestyle that she desires to live. Right now, she makes enough to cover her basic expenses, but there's no travel in this budget. There's no vacation in this budget. There is no night out with friends. That just does not exist in this budget. And so the cycle that this budget kind of creates is like, I'm going to just pull from my emergency fund and so that I can go and hang with my friends, or I'm going to possibly like miss my car insurance so that I can go to a nice dinner. Or it creates this irresponsible decision making. And so I'm always going to advocate for people to do whatever they have to do to improve their income, to increase their income first. Like that should be like the top priority when it comes to developing a budget, like looking at the lifestyle that you want to live and making sure that your money matches that lifestyle. And if it doesn't, what are the things that you can do, whether it's picking up a side hustle. I can tell you, I did so many side hustles over the years. I've been very transparent in that. I did DoorDash, I did Grubhub, I did ship one time, and I was like, oh no, I do not like doing my own grocery shopping, let alone anybody else's. But I've built websites. I picked up photography. I was consistently figuring out ways that I could increase my income in those moments that were rough, that were that where I didn't necessarily see where it was going to come from or how I was going to put it together. But anyway, we'll have more conversations about that. But that would be my number one piece of advice to her. And then in addition to that, I would just be paying close attention to my budget. If anything, I probably would want to cut out that dining out and be like, you got food at home. And if you don't, add some more to that grocery budget and get some food at home. Because when you are living on a strict budget, you decrease the you begin to have to make sacrifices that you're not necessarily wanting to make, but you have to make them so that you can survive, so that you can live. And one of the sacrifices that is available in this budget is kind of the dining out piece. So she has $21 left and 71 cents. I probably just advise her to kind of tuck that away into a savings somewhere so that she can increase and have a healthy savings. But the positive, again, she doesn't have debt, so that is something that is working in her favor, and I'm encouraging her to stay away from credit cards right now, unless she is using them to like pay her bills, which is what I do. I use them to pay my bills, but I pay them off at the end of the month. Like I get the points, and right now that's a stream of income for me, which we can talk about that later too. But as you can see, it just gives you visibility into like where your money's going. Let's do one transaction so you can kind of see let's do a grocery transaction. So let's say today she went grocery shopping and she spent, I don't know, $40. Let's say she went to Publix and she spent $25. I don't know. Immediately it tells you, okay, I spent this $25, $175 is what I have left over for the rest of the month. So she can open this app at any time. When she's at the grocery store, open it up and figure out, okay, what is my budget? What do I have to spend at the grocery store today? And that's essentially how it could help her exist and manage her day-to-day finances a little bit better than she possibly is doing currently. So I think that's all we're going to cover today. We're sitting at about right at 28-ish minutes. So thank you for tuning in, even if it was throughout different points. Much appreciation. Tomorrow we'll probably get into like the bill functionality and the calendar so that you can see how it works, how it's designed, how it's set up. Might be able to get over into transactions so you can also see like, ooh, that's a bug. So you can see like how this is designed to support a person and their day-to-day tracking, kind of their day-to-day finances. But either way, super excited. Oh, sneak peek. Like most people don't even know this exists. There's a menu over here that is well designed and has